Most people think sumo is just two massive men in diapers pushing each other around. But what if I told you that one piece of clothing can cost more than a car? That some wrestlers are forbidden from wearing a coat, even in winter, while snow falls outside? And that at the very top, one man walks into the arena wearing a rope that connects him directly to the gods? Today, I'm breaking down every single thing a sumo wrestler wears, and what each piece reveals about exactly where they stand in one of the most brutal hierarchies in all of professional sports. 1. The cotton mawashi. Picture this. You're 17 years old. You've just joined a sumo stable. And from this moment forward, every single day, you will wake up before everyone else, clean the floors, cook the food, and serve the senior wrestlers. And every day you will wear this, a thick strip of rough black cotton, 9 meters long, 5 kilograms when properly wrapped around your body. No color, no silk, no decoration. This is the cotton mawashi, and it is the most honest piece of clothing in all of sports. Every sumo wrestler in the lower divisions wears one. Not because it's comfortable, not because it performs better, but because it tells everyone in the room exactly who you are. You haven't earned anything yet. Here's the detail that shocks most people. The mawashi is never washed, ever. Wrestlers believe that water weakens the fabric and washes away accumulated good luck. Some of these belts carry years of sweat, clay, and history inside them. The goal, the only goal, of every wrestler wearing a black cotton mawashi is simple. Never wear it again. 2. The silk mawashi. The moment a wrestler reaches the top 2 divisions, Juryo or Makuchi, everything changes overnight. The black cotton disappears. In its place comes something completely different. A silk mawashi called the shimikomi that can be almost any color imaginable. Deep blue, crimson, forest green, rich purple, almost any color, except one. White is absolutely forbidden. In sumo's Shinto tradition, white represents sacred purity reserved for religious ceremony. And in the entire recorded history of professional sumo, not a single wrestler has ever attempted to wear a white mawashi in competition. The taboo is that absolute. The silk mawashi costs dramatically more than cotton. It is made by master artisans using traditional hand looms, most of them crafted by a single craftsman in Nagahama City who has dedicated his life to this one garment. But the cost is not the point. The point is what happens when you walk into that arena wearing silk instead of cotton. Every wrestler, every judge, every person in the building knows immediately. This man is a professional. He earns a salary, he has attendance, he does not clean the bathroom. Yokozuna Hakuho, widely considered the greatest sumo wrestler in history with 45 tournament championships, was known for choosing understated dark colors for his mawashi. His belt was quiet. His dominance inside the ring was not. 3. The sagari. Look closely at the front of any professional sumo wrestler's mawashi during a match, and you'll notice something. A stiff fringe of silk cords hanging down from the belt. Between 13 and 25 of them, always an odd number. These are called sagari, and they exist for one specific reason. They mark the only part of the mawashi that is completely illegal to grab during a match. Everything else, the sides, the back, the knot, is fair game. A wrestler can grab, pull, twist, and yank any part of the belt. But the sagari cover the groin area, touch them intentionally, and you are immediately disqualified. But there's a deeper layer here. The sagari are not just a rule marker. They are a direct reference to the sacred rope decorations that hang at the entrance of Shinto shrines across Japan. Their number is always odd because odd numbers are considered lucky in Shinto tradition. If the sagari fall out during a match, the referee throws them from the ring without stopping the fight. The bout continues. The symbolism, for a moment, is gone. But in sumo, the action never stops. 4. The kesho mawashi. This is where sumo stops looking like a sport and starts looking like something else entirely. The kesho mawashi is a floor-length ceremonial apron worn by wrestlers in the top 2 divisions during the ring entering ceremony. It is made of embroidered silk, covered in elaborate hand-stitched designs, and hangs nearly to the floor with thick, heavy gold tassels at the bottom. A single kesho mawashi can cost the equivalent of a luxury car. They are almost never purchased by the wrestler himself. They are gifted by sponsors, by fan clubs, by the wrestler's stable, as a public declaration of support, and the designs tell stories. Wrestler Chio Tairyu wore a kesho mawashi tribute to the Kinnikuman manga. Takayasu walked into the arena with Charlie Chaplin embroidered across his apron. Foreign wrestlers have used theirs to display their country's flag to a Japanese audience. There is one strict color rule. The fringe and tassels can be any color, except purple. Purple is reserved exclusively for yokozuna and oziki, the 2 highest ranks in sumo. Here's what makes it stranger. The kesho mawashi is never worn inside the ring during competition. The moment the ceremony ends, it comes off. Its only purpose is identity, ceremony, and the display of status. A wrestler might spend years dreaming of the moment he can walk into that arena wearing one, and then he takes it off before the first match even begins. 5. The tsuna. Only one piece of clothing in all of sumo is more exclusive than the kesho mawashi, and only the most powerful man in the sport is allowed to wear it. The tsuna is a thick rope belt worn exclusively by the yokozuna, the grand champion, during his personal ring-entering ceremony. It is made of 5 twisted white cords decorated with diamond-shaped paper zigzags called shide. These are the exact same paper decorations that hang at the entrance of Shinto shrines across Japan. When the yokozuna enters the arena wearing the tsuna, his entrance is no longer just an athletic ceremony. In Japanese tradition, the yokozuna is considered a figure of near-divine status, a human vessel chosen to represent the gods during the ritual. The tsuna makes that visible to everyone in the building. In the entire recorded history of professional sumo, only 74 men have ever worn a tsuna. 74. In a sport that has existed for over 1,000 years. And here's the rule that makes the rank unlike anything else in professional sports. The yokozuna cannot be demoted. Once you reach this level, you hold it for life. But if your performance declines, you are expected to retire voluntarily to protect the dignity of what the tsuna represents. The current active yokozuna, Teruno Fuji, reached this rank after one of the most extraordinary comeback stories in the sport's history. Severe knee injuries had dropped him all the way to sumo's lowest divisions, a fall so devastating that retirement seemed certain. He fought his way back up through every single rank and eventually walked into that arena wearing the tsuna. 74 men in 1,000 years. He is one of them. 6. The yukata. Outside the arena, sumo wrestlers are not allowed to wear normal clothes in public. No jeans, no t-shirts, no sneakers, no exceptions. The Japan Sumo Association requires all wrestlers to wear traditional Japanese attire whenever they are visible in public. And for wrestlers in the lower divisions, that means one specific garment, the yukata, a simple, lightweight cotton robe. In summer, this is manageable. In winter, it is a different situation entirely. Lower-ranked wrestlers are forbidden from wearing overcoats over their yukata. They wear wooden sandals called gita on bare feet. They walk to practice, to the store, through the city, in January and snow, in a thin cotton robe with no protection from the cold. This is not an oversight. It is designed exactly this way. Everyone who sees a young wrestler shivering on a Tokyo street corner in February knows precisely where he stands. The discomfort is the point. The public visibility of that discomfort is the point. Sumo wrestlers are also forbidden from driving cars. A top-knotted, yukata-clad wrestler squeezed into a Tokyo subway or navigating a bicycle through city traffic is not an unusual sight. The rules follow them everywhere. 7. The kimono. The difference between the yukata and the kimono in sumo is not a small upgrade, and it is the difference between two entirely different lives. Once a wrestler reaches the sekitori ranks, juryo, or above, the thin cotton yukata is replaced by a proper silk kimono. Elite wrestlers wear dark blue or deep purple silk when they leave their stable. The most senior wrestlers wear embellished kimonos decorated with personal crests, worn both inside and outside the stable. Think about what that transition means in practice. One week, a wrestler is walking to the train station in January in a cotton robe with no coat. The next week, if he earns promotion, he steps outside in silk. The fabric changes, the temperature changes, the way people look at him on the street changes, everything changes because of one tournament result. 8. The chanmage. Every professional sumo wrestler must maintain one specific hairstyle at all times in public. Not just during matches, not just at the stable, at all times in public. The chanmage is a traditional Japanese top knot derived directly from the hairstyle worn by samurai warriors. For lower-ranked wrestlers, it is a simpler version, a basic top knot held with oil. But for sekitori, the style becomes the oichomage, an elaborate top knot shaped specifically like the leaf of a ginkgo tree, built and maintained by a specialized sumo hairdresser called a tokoyama. The tokoyama trains for years to master this single hairstyle. Some wrestlers work with the same tokoyama for their entire career. But here is the moment that matters most. At retirement, a wrestler participates in a ceremony called Danpatsu Shiki. In front of an audience, sponsors, fans, and fellow wrestlers each take a symbolic cut of the top knot with a pair of scissors. The final cut is made by the wrestler's most honored guest. And then it's gone. Everything the top knot represented, the years of training, the matches won and lost, the rank achieved, ends in a single cut. It is one of the most emotional moments in sumo, and it is completely visible, irreversible, public. The career is over, and everyone in the room watches it end. 9. The Gita and Zori. Even footwear is regulated, and even footwear tells the story. Lower-ranked wrestlers wear gita, traditional wooden sandals with 2 raised wooden blocks on the bottom, hard, loud on pavement, uncomfortable in the cold. They wear these with no socks under their thin yukata in all weather. Once a wrestler earns sekitori status, the geta are replaced by zori, flatter, softer, more elegant sandals. Some are custom-made. The difference in comfort is significant. The difference in what they represent is enormous. The distance between geta and zori is measured in years, in hundreds of matches, in injuries trained through and defeats survived, in mornings where every part of your body hurt and you got up and did it again anyway. 2 sandals. Everything that separates them is a career. 10. The full set. Yokozuna only. Every rank in sumo receives 1 kesho mawashi for the ring entering ceremony. Every rank, except 1. The yokozuna enters the arena with 3 matching kesho mawashi, his own, plus 2 worn by his personal attendants, called tsuyuharai and tachimochi, who walk flanking him during the ceremony, wearing the exact same design as the yokozuna himself. No other rank receives this. It is the final, absolute confirmation of where this man stands. 1 wrestler. 2 men wearing his colors walking beside him, the suno rope around his waist, the most expensive apron in the building on his body, a hairstyle built by a specialist that morning. You don't need to read the rankings, you don't need to know the names, you don't need to understand a word of Japanese. When those 3 men walk in together, you already know exactly who the most powerful man in the room is. So there it is. Every piece of clothing in sumo, from the black cotton belt of a teenager who just walked into a stable for the first time, to the sacred rope of a man considered close to divine. What makes sumo's dress code unlike anything else in sports isn't any single garment, it's the system. Every piece of fabric, every material, every color communicates rank, history, and status without a single word being spoken. In most sports, everyone wears the same uniform. In sumo, what you wear tells your entire story. Which piece surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And if you want more sumo explained like this, you know what to do.